We have an interesting story about Jeff Bezos here. He obviously tries to portray himself as someone who wants to like move humanity forward and engage in space exploration and yada, 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 right? Well, it turns out that he actually pushed back space exploration because of his rapaciousness and because he wanted to be the center of attention and he wanted his company to be the one that actually achieved something, right? So it's not, again, let's be clear, this isn't about principle. This is not Jeff Bezos wanting the best for humanity or Elon Musk wanting the best for humanity. It's wanting to be the person that gets to be portrayed as the hero. What they want is attention, and it's pathetic, okay? This is in I Fucking Love Science. Great site if you guys are unfamiliar. NASA pushes moon return to 2025, puts partial blame on Bezos's Blue Origin lawsuit. Most of the world's population wasn't alive the last time a human set foot on the moon, and now we'll have to wait a little longer to see the event reoccur. NASA has announced it is still committed to the Artemis program to return humans to our satellite, but the earliest possible human landing date has been set back by at least a year to 2025. Although they admit other factors contributed, NASA has singled out Blue Origin's lawsuit for blame, something to consider whenever Jeff Bezos claims to be helping make humans multiplanetary. NASA has been keen to return to the moon for many years, and in 2017 was given the go-ahead for the program named Artemis. Artemis intends to establish a base on the moon with a sustainable human presence, which could act as a stepping stone to Mars. In the shorter term, however, it plans the uncrewed mission Artemis 1 launching next year, followed by a crewed mission that will, among other things, land the first woman on the moon. That was initially intended to take place in 2024, but now the first human landing under Artemis is likely no earlier than 2025, NASA Administrator Bill Nelson announced. In April, NASA selected SpaceX to supply the human landing system for the mission at a price of $2.9 billion. The choice was hardly surprising. SpaceX has a demonstrated record of reliability in carrying first supplies, and more recently, astronauts to and from the International Space Station. Its competitors can currently demonstrate nothing more than suborbital hops beyond the atmosphere. Also, they don't look as embarrassing. I have to imagine that link is to Jeff Bezos's penis ship that he went out on last time. That didn't stop Bezos from being outraged at the decision and launching a lawsuit against NASA, alleging it disregarded key flight safety requirements. NASA warned the lawsuit could cause a delay to humans returning to the moon. The suit was dismissed last week, but it seems too late to solve the issue. Quote, "We're pleased with the U.S. Court of Federal Claims through evaluation of NASA's source selection process for the human landing system, and we have already resumed conversation with SpaceX," Nelson said. "It's clear we're both eager to get back to work together and establish a new timeline for our initial lunar demonstration missions. Returning to the moon as quickly and safely as possible is an agency priority." However, he said the lawsuit was among the reasons the 2024 landing date was no longer feasible. Instead, Nelson said a crewed test flight will occur on May 2024 at least. But while this will take humans further from Earth than we have ever gone before, another moon landing will have to wait another year or more. So I do have a couple of thoughts on this. First of all, it shouldn't be SpaceX or Blue Origins. It should be NASA that's doing this. This should be publicly funded, and it should be in the interest of the public, not in the interest of Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and their shareholders and investors. That seems patently although I obviously, there are other basic priorities that need to be met before we even can start talking about space and science and exploration and all this stuff. If we're not taking care of people on Earth, what the fuck are we doing? So I obviously hold that perspective. We need to vastly improve our own society before this becomes a serious conversation. At the same time, I am a staunch supporter of like exploring space, engaging in science, understanding our reality as best as we can, potentially trying to survive past what our sun will allow us to. These kinds of things are important, obviously, right? To anybody who wants human beings and life to continue to evolve and survive, okay? It should not be privatized, because when you privatize it, you get the opposite of that. You don't get what is best for humanity. You don't get what is most scientifically, beneficial, what brings the most benefit to our understanding. You don't get that. What you get is what is most profitable. And that we continue to make this mistake is absolutely astounding to me, you guys. And I also want to point out, like Yuri Gagarin was in space in what, the 60s, okay? what NASA was doing in the 60s, what the Soviets were doing in the 60s, what the Europeans were doing in the 60s is more than what like Musk and Bezos have been able to do with billions of dollars in modern science. So this should be public, period. But for NASA, like some element of private partnerships is, I mean, whatever. If NASA's buying parts from a company or something, that's one discussion. But to be giving out $3 billion contracts to Elon Musk and then appeasing Jeff Bezos when he's upset that he didn't get the contract, what do you even say to that, you guys? What do you even say to that? And you remember after I believe it was this same contract, though I might have this crossed up. I believe it was the same contract that after this, Congress went and gave Jeff Bezos, like he just handed Jeff Bezos another contract because he wasn't making the money that he was expecting. Right. So it's not even like some sort of free market or some sort of like legitimate bid. Bezos is protected. If he loses the bid, he just gets some random other contract where Congress hands him a bunch of fucking money. Right. And how does the media portray all of this? They portray Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos as some like big thinkers and leaders and heroes and innovators and, you know, as though like doing what NASA did 50 years ago is somehow innovative. It's fucking ridiculous. And here we see that all of that rhetoric is complete nonsense from the start. That Bezos does not give two flying fucks about space exploration or human advancement. He's willing to sue NASA over something like this because he's upset that his name isn't the one that's going to be, you know, deified by the press. Pathetic, utterly pathetic. So never mix up principle with what these people's true intention is. Their intention is to make money and to make heroes of themselves. Okay. They are narcissistic, rapacious people. They're not principled. They're not trying to advance humanity. It's do not fall for it. It's so patently obvious. If we were trying to advance humanity, you know what Bezos would say? He would say, I'm going to go take my money and I'm going to spend it on Congress and tell them I'm going to use corruption in a positive sense. I'm going to go buy off members of Congress to fund NASA. If he was serious about space exploration, if he was serious about advancing humanity and becoming multiplanetary and all this kind of stuff, literally like eventually colonizing the galaxy kind of a thing, if that's really what he actually is serious about, then he would go fucking fund it publicly. He would go use his corruption and his leverage and his power to force NASA to do it. What he really wants is to be the hero and to make a bunch of money. And that it becomes patently obvious with this story right here. So this is obviously a very important story in a bigger picture sense. Obviously, we need fucking healthcare on planet Earth before we can start thinking about colonizing Mars. But I'm obviously not opposed to scientific exploration and a greater understanding of our reality and the origin of our universe and all of this kind of stuff. I'm fascinated by it, you guys. I love sitting there and listening to like theoretical physicists or philosophers talk about this shit. You know, it really does fascinate me. I don't want Jeff Bezos to be the one doing it because it's not going to actually get us where we want to go if we allowed Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. And what's the other guy's name? Richard Branson. If we let these people control space and control science in this way, I mean, we're not going to get good results. That just seems patently obvious to me. And I think Bezos has pretty well proven that with this particular story. So I want to show you guys another